Salespeople talk way too damn much. This isn't a popularity contest. You don't have to be the life of the party. You need to ask powerful and effective questions. And if you master that, you will be able to sell anything to anyone, anywhere, any place, anytime, guaranteed, because that is the name of the game. And nailing the first couple seconds of cold calling and knocking it out of the park. What are some things that you can do before, during, and even after a call to ensure that your calling sessions go smooth, you're silky smooth on the phone, you can get past resistance, and all of these pieces that you want to put together in regards to cold calling finally come together? Because if you've never gotten results from cold calling, it's you. It's not cold calling, right? I, myself, my students, and the people around me have gotten tremendous results cold calling. Made hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars from cold calling. It works and it will continue to work because it's communication between one human being to another. And when you get good at it, you can get results that other people can't. So let's jump right in. What to do before? Before you guys get on the phone and you start cold calling prospects, you need to, at a bare minimum, warm up for 30 to 45 minutes, meaning you have great role play partners and people that you have hand-picked and selected to drill real life scenarios on the phone. You don't just wake up, crusty eyes and roll out of bed and you make calls. You literally will have to make sure that you prime yourself. And for many of you, it requires more than just the role play. It's going to require a full morning routine. Getting up earlier, maybe exercising to get the blood flowing. If you're one of those people who wakes up groggy and you need 30 minutes or an hour to wake up, make sure you do that. Get the blood flowing, go for a walk, right? Go to the gym, wake up earlier. That way, by the time you start calling 2 or 3 hours later in the morning, you're already chipper and you're ready to go, right? Because remember, the moment you go live on the phone, you have to bring your A game, okay? So do that, get the role play, 30, 45 minutes in, good. Role play isn't, oh, hey man, how's it going? No, you call, they pick up immediately. Hi, is this Jim? Great, boom, you get right into it. That's how we start and prime ourselves. That way, before you even get on the phone, you got the blood flowing, you're awake, and you're ready to go. That alone will transform 90% of you's results. For sure, 100%. Now, let's talk about getting on the phone. Number one, you need a good script. Now, if you need free scripts, type scripts, and I can help you. I have real estate scripts. In my coaching, I teach people how to make their own scripts, but I have resources for you. So just leave a comment free, and I can give you something, right? You need to have a structure because the issue that people have when they cold call initially, if they're not really good yet, is they're still lacking confidence because they don't know what they're going to say. You need to have whatever script you're going to use fully internalized. It doesn't take long. When I got into the real estate business and started cold calling, within a week, I knew my scripts inside and out because I obsessed about studying them and reading them, right? Role playing them, writing them down, reciting them in my mind, making sure I could just, like, you could call me at 3 a.m. Hey, what's line 3 on this script? Boom, I could give it to you. That's preparation. And many of you don't even study your scripts. If I say, hey, what's line number 3 on your script? You can't even tell me. Line number 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. You should be able to say it verbatim. Even if later when we get on the phone, you deviate slightly from your script, it still needs to be 1000% internalized. All these things that I'm naming here in the beginning, y'all, is absolutely under your control. Now, if you need help, you need structure, you need accountability, you need these things put in place for you, then hit me up. I also offer coaching. The link is below. And leave me a comment and we'll chat. But these are the basic necessities that you need to implement, whether by force, whether through your coach holding you accountable, whatever you got to do to implement these things. You should learn your script. If you are a salesperson here watching this and you've been in your industry, real estate or not, for more than 3-4 weeks and you don't know your scripts, that is your fault. You're not putting in enough time and effort. Straight up. Okay? So we have the script memorized. That will give you the baseline of confidence to go on the phone and at least know, hey, I know what I'm going to say. And secondly, it prepares you because when you're not worried about what you're going to say, you can actually listen to the people that you're talking to. And you can be more reactionary and quicker on your toes. Okay? Next step, you call. Okay? The first thing you need to do once you have your scripts memorized is humanize them. A regular script is, oh, hello, is this Mr. Johnson? Hello, Mr. Johnson, my name is Bryan. Click. That's salesperson, right? That language pattern, that syntax is salesperson. How do we change that syntax? Well, think about if you knocked on my door and we were talking, oh, hey, Bryan, what's up? That would be a lot more friendly, right? You need to get that conversational, friendly type of syntax and vibe and tone and implement it to your calls. If I know that the person I'm looking to call is Bryan Johnson and a man answers the phone, I'm like, oh, hey, Bryan. They're going to be a lot more receptive to that, even if they don't recognize your voice. And, oh, hello, is this Mr. Johnson? The only time you're going to stay that formal is if you're calling a Fortune 500 company CEO, maybe business to business where you're dealing with upper echelon type of careers. Then yeah, you want to keep it more formal because that's the syntax of that world. If you're calling homes or door knocking and you're talking to regular everyday people, stop being so damn formal. This is what kills you guys when it comes to your sales. Is that's what salesy is. It's not the words, it's how you make people feel. And when you make people feel like you're selling them by being so robotic, that's the problem. First step, you memorize. The second step, you humanize. Think about how you can change some of these words, some of these sentences, and humanize them. How would you say this to your mom? Would you say, oh, hello, is this so-and-so? Yeah, my name is... You wouldn't say that. You'd say, hey, Janice, Bryan here. Hey, Janice, it's Bryan. You got a second? Hey, Janice, it's Bryan. Look, and you get right to the point. You don't sit there, oh, hello, and then, go through all these long-winded things. You want to learn it for sure so you know what to say. But then you have to go through and construct and humanize and change up the syntax of these scripts so when you say it, people don't feel like you're selling them. Now, in the beginning, many of you will struggle with that because you haven't memorized what you're going to say and you're still nervous and it doesn't come out smooth. That will come with time. So you have to be patient to that degree. Right? Because mastering cold calling and a lot of these skills takes a lot of time and effort and help and resources. You're not just going to do it overnight or figure it out because you listen to me or listen to some podcast, right? It's going to take a lot of time, dedication, and effort, and you need to prepare yourself for that if you want to be good at this in the long term. I remember at my peak when I was cold calling expired listings in real estate, I was setting an appointment every 7 conversations I was having. I know people that claim they talk to 200 or 300 people in a week and they can't set an appointment. That's the difference in skill. Same scripts that they were using, same methodology, making calls, going door to door. I'm setting appointments and making money. They're striking out. It's a skill issue. That's the problem. Okay? So we have the humanizing the script, right? The second one is you need to, at a higher degree, become much more emotionally intelligent and receptive to people. Meaning you need to turn on your filter in your head through your development of ask yourself this, the moment I hear their voice, what emotional state is this person in? What emotional state is this person in? Because many times you guys just want to say that classic, oh, hi, is this blank? The classic overly enthusiastic salesperson, which sounds like a clown. What if I call somebody and they're more monotone? What if their energy's lower? What if they're speaking a lot slower? You have to pick up on these things. You have to vibe. You have to meet people where they're at energetically or slightly above. If someone's monotone and I come in like this, it's not going to work. Just like if they're super excited, oh, hello, and you come in monotone like this, it's not going to work, okay? Because within that, you have the matching of their energy and their emotional state, but you can also hijack their syntax and their words. If someone says hello, you say hello. If they say hey, you say hey. If they say hi, you say hi. If they always say okay, cool, you start saying okay, cool. Because that breeds familiarity on a subconscious level. It makes people more comfortable with you, right? Basic stuff, guys. But again, you're not going to be able to do this step if you haven't mastered the first stuff. So what you need to do is bookmark a video like this and come back and watch it every day and say, I'm going to pick this one and this one and this one. Or you take a full page of notes on what I'm saying and you pick these things that you're going to work on to improve upon. Because that's how you do it. You have to be selective to improve on these things and very, very specific. Then the game changes, for sure, right? So we have some of these things and we barely started, y'all. And this immediately will increase your results, cold calling, 1,000,000-fold, for sure, okay? Now, let's say you engage with somebody and they're irate. You need to match their level of anger. Right? So when I call, right, like I know when I call an expired or for sale by owner listing in real estate, they're not always going to be upset, but there is a likelihood that they may be, so I'm ready. So if I call and they pick up and I can tell right away they're upset, I'll say a line like this. I'm not the first one calling you today, am I? They pick up, right? Another one. Did you think 6 months ago you were going to be in this position, Bryan? No, I can't believe it. Da, da, da. These are statements that are pattern interrupts, but also get them to talk, and they deviate so much from the syntax that other people use that you're going to warrant a response. But more than anything, you have to match them. If they're pissed off, you got to be pissed off. You got to be kidding me. Really? You're on the market for 3 months and you got no offers? Like, that's how I'm talking to people in the beginning if they're upset. And that's what you need to do too. Oh man, but I'm not comfortable doing that. Then get comfortable. You need to meet people where they're at. How do we, like, let's say you don't believe anything that I just said. Think about when somebody calls a customer service line and they're upset and the customer service rep has that fake, like, I'm sorry, sir. It makes them more mad. So we know for a fact what I'm talking about works because you've experienced it or you've seen it in other people. So again, whether you have zero understanding of communication and sales, look at real life examples and parallels to make these points. Because I always tell people to never just believe what I tell them. Go out and test it yourself. And this is why I've always said over the last 11 years that I've been making content, the people who go out there and do what I say or walk that path, step by step, they start confirming that everything that I told them was true because I speak from experience. 1 month in, this is going to happen. Then this is going to happen. And they're like, you were right, you were right. And some of my closest students are the ones who have done the most. And they verified every step of the way. Dude, you were right about this, 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 this. Now, am I perfect? Of course not. But these subjects, right? I know. So you may feel uncomfortable. You may doubt me. That's fine. But at least experiment it to try it and get better at it. For sure. So we have this connection with them, right? Oh, they're irate, whatever, okay? Now, if it's a regular call, it's a regular call. But you have to be expecting the best, yet you're prepared for anything. I always expect people to comply, because this is another hidden piece in here. You have to be assumptive when you sell, and your words and your actions need to dictate that. Let's do this. Would it be okay if we meet? No. Hey, are you free to meet today at 5 or tomorrow at 6? Which is better? Not, are you open to meet sometime? Would you maybe want to get together? Could I have your number? No, you don't ask that. You say, great, let's exchange information. Oh, you don't have a business card? Perfect. You know what? I'll just plug your phone I'll plug your number in my phone and I'll text you. What's the number? 305? Assumptive, 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 sharp. That you develop through skill and mentorship and experience. That's how you develop that. When you become assumptive, you tell people what's going to happen and you assume the sale. So when we look at it from a technical standpoint, there's things that you can do to assume the sale. It's not just a mindset. That's a part of it, sure. Because that would be another question I have for y'all. Do y'all expect people to pick up the phone? Do you expect them to want to talk to you? Or do you expect them to just shoo you away? Every time I call or knock on a door, I expect somebody to talk to me. I'm not considering myself a nuisance or worried if I'm bothering people. That's why many of you come off so apologetic and weak and people just reject you. Because a lot of this is attitude. Do you carry yourself like $1 million when you're out there selling? When I door knock in my suits or I make calls, in my suits, dude, I take what I do serious. I'm not here to mess around. Are you? And if you are, just quit. What's the point? What's the point? And many people, these things that I'm talking about here, you've heard this year after year after year. Why haven't you mastered it yet? What the hell are you doing? It's because many of you refuse to take the next step. You watch a little bit, you sit back, you do nothing, or you're inconsistent. You need to get with the program. You need to follow these routines and have a business plan in place and a strong plan of action and a schedule and accountability group and all these things that everybody has ever used that's been successful. But here we come and we think we're special and we can deviate from that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'll never stop saying that because it's true. And some people get the message and they wake up and some people don't. But that's just the nature of it. Okay? So now we're getting into the conversation. The next thing is you need to, right away when they start speaking, like let's say you get past that beginning portion, you need to identify where they're at. All of you have a script or a dialogue that you follow, and most of them you can break up into sections. Like when I think of the real estate scripts, they're typically like in 3 or 4 sections. So when you hear them talk about something, like if I'm calling a real estate prospect and they start talking about the agent or their previous experience with an agent, I know that there's 3 questions in my script pertaining to the agent. I'm going to pace and lead them, right? You guys need to learn pacing and leading. Pacing means then the next question or topic that I bring up will be in line with what they're thinking and what they're talking about. That's how I pace them. Then I lead by asking the next question and moving the conversation forward. In a simplistic fashion, that's pacing and leading. But it's not just the words, right? It's also your vibe and the emotions and all that. But from a word standpoint and a syntax standpoint, you need to meet them where they're at. Many of you just rifle off the first question of your script and you think that's the right thing to do just because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Conversationally, you need to meet them where they're at. So if they talk about where they're moving, sure, that's the first part of my script in real estate. If they talk about the agent, that's the middle part, right? They talk about the marketing and all that. It's middle, near the end, right? Like you need to kind of figure it out. Now, again, this is tough for people because in the moment, everything's happening so fast, you're not that skilled yet. Fair enough. Get the skill, put in the time, learn from the right people. Like any of you, if I grabbed any of you who watch this video randomly and I work with you, right? Like let's say you join my coaching within a month, you'd be getting big results cold calling. And then ask yourself, again, if you were dedicated, how long have you been trying or thinking about it? A month, 6 months, a year? What is that costing you? Because you're not taking the next step to learn. Anything I've done in my life, basketball, sales, whatever, I've learned from people big time. Gone to their events, did their coaching, whatever it is. Because I realized that from a young age playing basketball too, that's the way. You get the coach and they teach you. If you want to be great at something. Because again, I told you guys, the whole basis of my channel is if you want to be in the top 5 or 10% of people, business people, sales people, real estate, whatever. I'm assuming you want to be elite and that's why you follow me. So just know that the advice comes from that. If you're just looking to do okay or be average or above average, then I'm probably not for you, right? So meeting them where they're at, that's a big one, because then from there, that's how you catch the hook point in the conversation. The hook point is where they finally relax and they'll actually start talking to you and they're not just trying to pull away and get off the phone. Because another mistake that I see is when someone's trying to push away, you chase them. If someone acts like they're going to hang up, don't be like, like where you're just trying to talk fast, because then from, again, a tonality standpoint, they're pulling away and you're chasing them. And when you chase and they pull, they're going to pull away harder. You need to reverse it and pull away as well. Oh man, I don't have time for this. Well, I have one more question for you, sir. You do something like that, like I just did, a lot of them, you'll see that they'll be waiting on the phone for you to talk because you pulled away. You didn't chase them and go out, oh no, please don't close the door. Oh, please don't hang up. Which is what we normally do, right? Now that one requires a lot of skill and calmness in the moment. And you may be able to develop that one later, but I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff at you guys because this is, again, a free video that I'm giving out, and we don't do deep dives here for an hour or two like we went on a lecture. It's just real quick. So write these things down and make sure that you come back, or you specifically ask a question, or you pick these certain items to work on so that you can develop, okay? The next part I would say is the middle of the conversation and being able to stick to your script yet remain in control of the conversation. So many people, what happens is you let them go off on stories and pull you away from the actual sale and get off into side conversations because either we're scared, we don't have the skill set, or we think we need to do that to build rapport. Building rapport is more subconscious than it is conscious. Meaning, a lot of the stuff that you do, the tonality that you use, right? The assertiveness that you have, that builds more rapport than, oh, you golf, I golf too. Or, oh, you have kids, I have kids too, right? Like the old school stuff that is stupid. That doesn't build rapport. That's just you trying to build rapport, right? You want the conversational flow and you, from a technical standpoint, doing things right, that in itself builds massive rapport. That's what you want, because then you're killing two birds with one stone. You're qualifying, building rapport, and doing all that simultaneously. You're not like, well, I need to take a step back and build rapport now. No. That's what rookies do. An expert can build rapport simultaneously while selling, and that's what you want, because that's what allows you to build relationships with people and get closer to them, but also sell. And selling is a high-level, high-paid skill, and we got to learn, right? You got to go through the trenches. So, focusing on these things right now, what I said earlier about just now, about adding those questions, is you want to be particular. You need to be able to add questions in the in-between and other points that you want to make that are still relevant to the sale. So let's say I'm going door to door and I'm talking to people about real estate. I've added powerful questions. I do this on the phone too. Because typically our script is, how long have you lived here? Where would you move if you moved next, right? What area did you move from before? Right? Those are the typical questions. And then we set up an appointment or we get their information. I've added other questions like, hey, you've been here 10 years, right? Great. Well, if I was a buyer moving into your neighborhood and I asked you, what are the top 3 things that you love about living here? What would you say? What a great question, right? That'll get them to open up and talk and give you a lot more information. Now, newsflash, that's a great question. You know why? Because if they don't like the neighborhood, they're going to tell you, well, there's nothing good about living here. Then you might have somebody who's interested in selling who hasn't admitted it to you yet. You see? We got to start thinking ahead and asking better questions to get better answers. Humor is another thing when you get more advanced that you can add. If I find somebody's being standoffish or I want to break the ice, I'm like, hey, real quick before I go, Which one of your neighbors do you not like that you want me to get rid of for you? I'll make sure I sell their house. And usually they laugh. I'll say something like that, right? But it breaks the ice and it gets people talking. Well, hey, before I go, any neighbors you want me to get rid of for you, right? I've never gotten a bad response from that, but that's an extra question that I added. I'm comfortable being humorous, and it works. Now, one other piece that I'm going to give you guys here that's very powerful is creating contrast. If you want people to make decisions, create contrast. What I mean by that is this. Let's say I'm talking to somebody, again, in real estate, and they're like, oh, we want to move in a couple months. You don't have anything there, right? So what I do is I add additional questions to create contrast to get a more definitive answer. So as an example, we want to move in a couple months. Okay, so we're in November right now. Are you looking to be maybe like moved, sold here and moving into your new home like right after the new year? Or would you like to start the process after the new year so you're not moving into your new home until maybe spring, March, April, May? Oh no, we definitely want to be, moved into the new home after the new year, like in January. Great. Well, were you aware that it could take 1 to 3 months to get your home on the market and get it sold? No, we didn't. Great. We set up an appointment. That's how you do it. But if you just go with a couple months, the average salesperson who's a rookie and is not good is going to say, oh, cool. You get their number and you're like, oh, I'm going to follow up in a couple months. And then someone like me or one of my trained students comes along and converts them. And then you see them online selling and you're like, wait, they told me a couple months because you didn't take the extra step. In that case, it took 1 or 2 extra questions to go one more step, created contrast with the time differences in order to facilitate the decision in their mind to give you one. And then hey, if it wasn't until March, great, get their number, follow up. Then for a fact they're going to wait. But you have to learn to become more versatile as a salesperson and do things such as creating contrast because it's always question-based. Salespeople talk way too damn much. This isn't a popularity contest. You don't have to be the life of the party. You need to ask powerful and effective questions. And if you master that, you will be able to sell anything to anyone, anywhere, anyplace, anytime, guaranteed, because that is the name of the game. And that is a skill that anybody can develop. I've had students worldwide, young, old, men, women, doesn't matter. I can teach you for sure, but it proves the fact that you can learn and it doesn't matter, right? Cool. All right, guys, I'll end it here. I hope you enjoyed this. I think this is a good little recap for people in regards to cold calling. You may have learned something. You may have been reminded that there's certain things you need to work on. But cold calling and that skill set is universal and it will help you in much more than just real estate. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you develop it. All right. Salute. Appreciate the support. Thumbs up here. Leave me another comment if you wanted to support the channel. Make sure notifications are on and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.